artists, we're on day 102 today, and we're going to carry on with the contemporary portrait. Now it's a little bit difficult to explain exactly what I'm doing because I'm actually trying to be quite instinctive here. On the first layer I stuck to the sort of very greenish or very cool flesh tones, and I'm now starting to warm things up, and I'm getting the lower values in still. Again, I'm sticking to the lower and the mid-tone values until I'm completely happy that I've got the structure correct, and until I've got the low and mid-tone value relationships correct. I'll stick to that, and before I even vaguely start to think about going up into the upper values. But again, I'm trying to be more instinctive. I'm keeping in mind the whole time the character of the kid that I'm painting here on Siobhan, and trying to allow the painting to talk to me. Now I had a question from Faith today, Faith Smart. She wanted to know from me what medium I was using. I didn't go into a lot of detail about medium because it's something that I've covered continuously over videos, but just to recap for the purposes of people who may not have seen the earlier videos, for my first layer where I was blocking out the canvas, I was using a sort of 90% terps, 10% alkyd medium. I did that again for the darks and the laying down of the structure of the face. Again, when I was working on the cooler tones and the first actual layer of the flesh colors, I was using probably 25% alkyd, 75% terps, and I'm using the same on this layer. I'm keeping my paints relatively thin, well actually very thin. They're quite runny. Not enough to sort of run down the canvas, but they're really thin. So the paint that I'm putting on now is not actually really completely blocking out the colors underneath. So the combination of layers is actually causing quite a lovely cool effect coming through the warm colors. Alright, so the main thing about this contemporary thing is like I explained to you yesterday, I'm trying to stay instinctive. I'm trying to bring the character of the child through. I'm not really worried about a lot of detail. The detail will slowly but surely build up, but it's not my main concern at this point. My main concern, besides the technical side of actually getting the structure right, my main concern is to communicate Siobhan and who she is, and her sort of fun-loving personality. Now what I did before I started this painting, as I said to you before, is I spent a lot of time thinking about Siobhan. Not so much about painting Siobhan, but about Siobhan herself. Just sitting looking at the image. So just to cover a few technical details, I've discussed the paint and the medium that I'm using, but also a very, very important point to note here is that because I'm a relatively photorealistic painter naturally, I'm trying very hard to stay loose and stay away from detail at this point. The detail can come later, and even then I don't want to go into far too much detail. So I'm using big brushes, and I'm holding my brushes at the end of the brush, and you hold it low down on the handle, so you're not holding it up at the top at the shaft like you would a pen or a pencil, because when you hold brushes like that you tend to want to get quite pedantic and quite detailed if you are naturally such a painter as I am. So I like to hold them low down at the end of the handle and stand back from my canvas so that I'm painting a little bit at arm's length, because it tends to help me to view the painting because I'm standing a little bit away from it, and it also helps me to lose a little bit of control, so to speak, because that's actually what you want with contemporary painting. You want to loosen up and lose a bit of control and not be so pedantic about details, almost submit to what the paintbrush is doing. I do move my wrist around quite a lot, so when I'm painting low down I'll have my thumb pointing up, and when I'm painting up high I'll turn my wrist around, have my thumb pointing down. But generally speaking, I'm holding the paintbrush close towards the end of the handle in an effort to relinquish control, so to speak. So our painting is starting to get some of the upper mid values. We've still got a long way to go, so stick with me, artists. I hope you've enjoyed day 102, the continuation of the contemporary portrait, and tomorrow of course we're going to carry on doing some more of it, and I hope to see you then. Thank you so much for joining me. See you tomorrow. That's what you want to do.